book outlet. Bro, hi. Just get on my bed. My dog just pushed my door open.
Yes, of course it.
Hey kings and queens and royal beings, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. So, we're still trying out the intro. I don't know how to feel about it. Who knows? Today's video, I'm going to be doing a book haul. Another one, but to be fair, the last one I did was in February, so it was 4 months ago. So basically these are all of the books that I've accumulated within the past 4 months. Quarantine, not gonna lie, had me a little purchase happy because your girl needed the serotonin. It's gonna be like last time. I'm going to show you guys the books based off of where I got them. Just letting you guys know that there are some books that I purchased from book outlets. I will no longer be buying anything from them. I bought these about 2 weeks before the whole thing happened. Yes, that is going to be my last book outlet haul. Let's get started because this is going to be a long, hopefully not so long, but it's gonna be a long video. Let's just start off with book outlet. Get those out of the way. First, I got Coroner's Journal, Forensics and the Art of Stalking Death by Louis Cataldi. This is basically about Dr. Louis Cataldi. He is a coroner, so this is just him talking about some of his cases. Like, he's had a few really like disturbing ones. The one where a professor was killed by a barn door. There are a few serial killer things in here as well. I'm a very big fan of true crime, so I'm always trying to get more and more books not dedicated, but like nonfiction books that talk about true crime cases, whether they be about serial killers or just mysterious deaths, stuff like that. Along those lines, we have The Man in the Monster, Inside the Mind of a Serial Killer by Martha Elliott. It's about the serial killer named Michael Ross, and this is just his profile from when he was active as a serial killer. Next is The Man from the Train, Discovering America's Most Elusive Serial Killer by Bill James and Rachel McCarthy James. This is talking about like a really old serial killer, like the early 1900s. Next up, we have Dreams from Many Rivers, A Hispanic History of the United States Told in Poems. So this one, I did get it for me to read, but also more than likely once I finish, I'm going to give it to one of my cousins. It's basically just a bunch of poetry works and nonfiction, just talking about the Hispanic experience in the United States. Next up, we have Wicked and the Wallflower by Sarah McLean. I've heard many good things about this like series specifically, as well as Sarah McLean. I've never read it. I think I've only read like at least one novella by her, and I did enjoy it. However, I do really want to read this one, so I'm just gonna read the description. A mysterious stranger finds his way into her bedchamber and offers his help in landing a husband. Lady Felicity Faircloth agrees to his suspicious terms on one condition: she's seen enough of the world to believe in passion and won't accept a marriage without it. Bastard son of a duke and king of London's dark streets, Devil has spent a lifetime wielding power and seizing opportunity, and the spinster Wallflower is everything he needs to exact a revenge years in the making. All he must do is turn the plain little mouse to an irresistible temptress, set his trap, and destroy his enemy. But there's nothing plain about Felicity Faircloth, who quickly decides she'd rather have Devil than another. Soon, Devil's carefully laid plans are in chaos, and he must choose between everything he's ever wanted and the only thing he's ever desired. So I've heard that this series is actually like kind of angsty. Next up, we have Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors by Sonali Dev. I haven't heard much about it, but what I have heard, I'm pretty sure it's been like good things. So yeah, I hate this sticker. I'm gonna have to like really do a good job, but like right now I have nails on, so it's a little difficult. My dog is just like staring at me because he's like, who are you talking to? Myself and the people. Nobody watches this video. Then I am talking to myself. 3 books I got specifically because of Jules, because this, I believe, is one of their favorite authors. And when I saw them on Book Outlet, I was like, you know what? Let me get them. So we have When Dimple Met Rishi There's Something About Sweetie, and From Twinkle with Love by Sandhya Menon. Yeah, Jules keeps on raving about them, and I know Delaney has read There's Something About Sweetie. I don't know if she's read the other two, but I know she's definitely read There's Something About Sweetie, and she says that I would really love this one. So now we're on to the last book, and this is like pretty much the main reason why I went on Book Outlet, because I wanted to see if they had it, and when they had it, I said, let me just buy some books. That's a bad habit. So I bought Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the third book in the Ember and the Ashes series. The fourth book comes out in December, so I was like, it's time to catch up on this series. I started reading the audiobook and I got like a quarter of a way through, but I kind of want to read it physically. I'm not entirely sure, but I just also really want the book. The only thing I hate about this is, okay, so I have the first one. I just hate that like they don't match, and not only do they not match, the second one matches this one, but it's a paperback. Why? Why would they change the covers before the series is finished? Because now my shit doesn't match. It's not such a big deal, but it kind of is, because I really like this cover. I like this cover too, but I really like this cover. I also really like the second cover that matches this one. What can you do other than repurchase? But I gotta stop doing that. Next are going to be some books that I got from this website called Haymarket Books. Dee was the one who really recommended this website for me, because a lot of the nonfiction books that I was looking at were sold out. She said that this is a really good place to get nonfiction books. First got Song of the Stubborn 1000 by Peter Shapiro. This is following the canning strike, where 1000 mostly Mexican women who worked in Watsonville, California, were forced out on strike by the owner to break their union. I haven't really heard much about this thing, but I thought it was actually sounded really interesting. I don't really read a lot of nonfiction books that don't revolve around true crime, and that's something that I really need to fix. I do enjoy nonfiction, it's just not something that I always go towards, but it's a pretty short book, and I know that I can also take my time. I'm not in like a huge hurry, not to read it, but like to finish it. I don't know. Next I got Black Queer Hoe by Brittany Black Rose Capri. Let me just read the back, because I don't exactly know how to describe this book. Women's sexuality is often used as a weapon against them. In this powerful debut, Brittany Black Rose Capri lends her unmistakable voice to fraught questions of identity, sexuality, reclamation, and power in a world that refuses Black queer women permission to define their own lives and boundaries. Next up, we have Citizen Illegal by Jose Olivares. So this talks like a lot about race, ethnicity, gender, class, and immigration, and I've heard pretty good things about it, and once again, this is like a poetry collection, so I know I can read this in no time. However, I don't know if it's going to be really heavy, because first generation American here. So next up we have Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis. Dee really recommends Angela Davis. I've never read any of her works. Dee specifically recommended this one because it talks about Ferguson, Palestine, and other movements for freedom. I've also heard a lot of really good things about all of Angela Davis's like works and stuff like that, so I want to slowly accumulate all of her works. Okay, so the last book that we got from Haymarket, well that I got, is Latinx, which is a poem anthology written by various people talking about, it celebrates the embodied narratives of Latinidad, talking about nationalities, gender, sexuality, races. Okay, so next I'm going to do the books that I've gotten from like secondhand stores, My Second and Charles, half price books. So I got Fearless Girls, Wise Women, and Beloved Sisters, and this is by Kathleen Reagan. This is just a bunch of heroines and folk tales from around the world. I still really like reading fairy tales and like folklore. Also, the cover really drew my attention. Next up I have Gyo by Junji Ito. This is a horror manga. I literally just finished reading this yesterday, and it's not scary like that, but it's like very unsettling, and it's like the artwork is so good, but I was like grossed out. I was on Skype with my friends and we were reading and I was on mute, but you could like just see me going like making faces. So Julie's like, you good, Jess? And I'm like, I'm grossed out, but I'm good. Alright, so next up I got The Bachelor by Sabrina Jeffries. This is the second book in I Don't Know the series. In the Duke Dynasty series, I read the first one, Project Duchess, late last year or early this year, I don't remember. Next up we have The Education of Margot Sanchez by Lilian Rivera. So this is about a girl named Margot Sanchez who, after she borrowed her dad's credit card to buy clothes, she ends up being grounded and she ends up having to be an indentured servant for her family's grocery store to pay off what she bought. So as she's like working there, she feels like her reputation that she has is like going downhill, and Margot is invited to a beach party by school friends and she's determined to go there no matter what. I have Norway by Kit and Kat Seaton. This is a graphic novel, obviously. A woman who's always craved adventure. So when a witch tells of a rather unusual betrothal in her future, she takes it well in stride. But she never guessed that the prophecy would be quite so literal, until the day a giant magical bull appears at her door to ask for her hand in marriage. But the real question is the Black Bull of Norway a man or a monster? To be honest, when I got it, I just saw that it was the first in a volume. I didn't really read what it was about. This giving me, I can't think of that Greek mythology one with, not a matador, but I can't think of what it's called. So, I don't know, and I've never heard anything about this one. Next, we have volumes 7, 8, and 9 of Saga, which this is gonna complete my collection. I'm currently on volume 4. So now I can just read them all together. Next up we have Supernatural Serial Killers, Chilling Cases of Paranormal Bloodlust and Deranged Fantasy by Samantha Lyon, Dr. Daphne Tan. It's not like what you think. It's just serial killers who have their like serial killer name as like supernatural creatures. It talks about 16 infamous serial killers with supernatural names, basically. Next we have Labyrinth Lost by Zoreda Cordova. I already have this book, but I have the paperback and I wanted this one. I saw it on eBay, so I got it. And I like this. I mean, I like the purple cover, which I'll put a picture right here, but I just prefer this cover. And it's hardcover, and Ruha Born is hardcover, and I'm getting Wayward Witch as a hardcover. Okay, so next we are on books that I got either from like random, like Target, Walmart, something like that, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. First three are the ones that I literally just bought. One is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. I've just heard a lot of people talk about it, and I believe it is the debut. Yes, it is a debut for Malik. The Solstasia Festival is a chance to escape his war-stricken home and start a new life with his sisters in the prosperous desert city of Ziran. But when a vengeful spirit abducts Malik's younger sister Nadia as a payment to enter the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal: kill Karina, crown princess of Ziran, in exchange for Nadia's freedom. But Nadia has deadly aspirations of her own. Her mother, the Sultana, has been assassinated. Her court threatens mutiny, and Solstasia looms like a knife over her neck. Grief-stricken, Karina decides to resurrect her mother through ancient magic, requiring the beating heart of a king. And she knows just how to obtain one, by offering her hand in marriage to the victor of the Solstasia competition. When Malik rigs his way into the contest, he and Karina are set on a heart-pounding course to destroy each other. But as attraction flares between them and ancient evils stir, will they be able to see their tasks to the death? I've heard very, very good things about this book so far. She kind of thick. I was not expecting that, and oh, the font is a little small, just a little. We have King of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is, I've already kind of damaged because it got a little and it's paperback. So mostly I got this because Daniel Green really like talked about this book, and I really wanted to get into more like dark slash high fantasy. Clay Cooper and his band were once the best of the best, the most feared and renowned crew of mercenaries this side of the Heartwild. Their glory days long past, the mercs have grown apart and grown old, fat, drunk, or a combination of the three. Then an ex-bandmate turns up at Clay's door with a plea for help, the kind of mission that only the brave or the stupid would sign up for. Okay. Next we have The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I heard that this book is extremely heartwarming and so good, and this cover, does it not remind you of like, gives you Howl Moving Castle slash Up? Just me. Next up we have The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. Once again, got it because of Daniel Green. I want to read more adult high fantasy. But like, I can't even front. What holds me back from like high fantasy and adult high fantasy is like things that I've been seeing, like Heather from Aphrodite Reads, when like, or other people when they talk about high fantasy. You get some high fantasy stans in the comments, and I really don't care what they have to say, but I just don't want to deal with them because I don't really care to have a white man tell me my opinions, because I really don't give a fuck. So who knows? I kind of wanted to do a reading vlog dedicated to high fantasy, like especially since I don't really read high fantasy. But again, I don't really want to deal with it, but I don't really care. I can just delete comments. So probably will do one of those soon. Well, next we have The Way to Rio Luna by Zoreda Cordova. This is a middle grade, and I talked about this in my Latinx books I'm excited for 2020. It just follows Danny as he is trying to find his sister after they've been separated, and he ends up going on an adventure through fairy tale stories. Next we have Curse of the Night Witch by Alex Astor. Once again, this is a book that I mentioned, so I'm just gonna leave that video in the description. A lot of Latinx books. I'm not mad. Next we have Sal and Gabby Fix the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. This is the sequel to Sal and Gabby Break the Universe. We have Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book follows Danny Brown, who is the sister of Chloe Brown, and she really doesn't like believe, like have much faith in love and relationships and all that, but she's looking for a person to like to have a friends with benefits type of situation. And then we meet Zaf, who is a big like bulky brooding security guard who works at the school that she works at. Yeah, they're like really good friends, and he ends up rescuing her after a fire drill went wrong, and they end up getting like this huge like hashtag Dr. Rugby, because he is a former professional rugby player. So he ends up asking Danny to continue on with the ruse. So it's a whole fake dating trope. Y'all know I'm down for that. But it's really great because Zaf is like a romance reader. It's cute because he's like a big old like strong silent type, but he's like a big old softie. So yeah, and it just follows their romance. I already finished this book. I think I gave it, did I give it a 5? I either gave it a 4.5 or a 5 star. I don't remember which one. Next we have All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is a memoir about George's life, talking about his experience growing up Black and queer in America. I haven't read it yet. I've heard very good things about it, especially that this will be a good book, really good for Black and queer boys. Next up we have Heart Shaped Box by Joe Hill. This is a horror book. I've been wanting to expand my reading experiences, as you can tell with a lot of the books that I've bought. Aging death metal rock legend Judas Coyne is a collector of the macabre. Book for cannibals, a used hangman's noose, a snuff film, but nothing he possesses is as unique or as dreadful as his latest purchase off the internet. A one-of-a-kind curiosity that arrives at his door in a black heart-shaped box. A musty dead man's suit still inhabited by the spirit of its late owner. And now everywhere Judas Coyne goes, the old man is there, watching, waiting, dangling a razor blade on a chain from his bony hands. There's only like one and a half alcove of the horror genre at Barnes and Noble, and basically a majority of it was either, like, most of it was Stephen King with a couple of Dean Koontz. So this is like one of the only other people. That's a lie. There was a couple other people, but I didn't want to read either of those people. So when I went on Goodreads, I think this one had a pretty decent rating. Next we have The Deep by River Solomon. This follows Yetu. She and her people are the Wajin Nuru. They are mermaids that were actually descendants of pregnant African women who were thrown overboard on their way to America because of slavery. Yetu is like one of the only people who actually like remembers what happened, and she ends up fleeing to the land to try to forget about her memories. This just follows her as she goes up and discovers about what happened up top. Most of these are because of book Twitter. That is 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. Yendar is an outcast from the barbarian north, but when her mother dies under mysterious circumstances, she is summoned to the majestic city of Sky. There, to her shock, Yen is named an heiress to the king. But the throne of the 100,000 Kingdoms is not easily won, and Yen is thrust into a vicious power struggle. Next we have We Are Not From Here by Jenny Torres Sanchez. I mentioned this again in my Latinx books, but it follows 3 teens as they are trying to immigrate to the United States to escape from the dangers in their village. I already read this book. I cried really a lot. Like, it was a moment. Next up we have We Unleash the Merciless Storm by Taylor K. Mejia. This is a sequel to We Set the Dark on Fire, so I can't really give much information. Next up we have 3 books, but they're the same book. So before you say anything, I know I should stop buying multiple books. However, this is one of my favorite authors. That's all I'm gonna say. We have Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. This is the US edition. We also have Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. This is the Owl Crate edition. And last, again, Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. Then this is the Fairyland edition. Before you say anything, is 3 copies of one book excessive? Yes, it is. So, last up we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is a gothic horror book. I also just want to mention that in my video for Latinx books, I was mispronouncing her name. I was saying Naomi. Her name is actually Noemi. I read it too fast. I didn't pay attention, so apologies for that one. But this follows Noemi. She is a socialite, really has like no care in the world. Her father ends up sending her to her cousin who had just gotten married, and she's been sending like really troubling letters to Noemi's father, so she goes there to try to figure out what's going on. So that's last from Barnes and Noble. So this next stack is actually books that I didn't buy, so props to me. I already bought a lot of books. So first one I want to mention is a book that I don't physically have right now because I let my cousin borrow it, but it is You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. This was sent to me by my friend Jocelyn. Got a lot of hype on book Twitter, and for good reason, because I finished it in like 5 hours. Next up is a book that I got from my friend Sammy from Sammy Reads, and that is Vengeance Road by Aaron Bowman. Next up are 3 books that I got from Jules, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I already read this book. I listened to the audiobook, but I didn't have a copy of it. And it was funny because I was on Skype with Jules and they were like, wait, Jessica, you haven't read Evelyn Hugo? And I was like, no. Hold on, I have read it. I just don't own it. So they sent this to me because this is like one of their, this is one of their favorite books. Next up I also got from them is Hermosa and Tesoro by Jessica Salgado. These are poetry collections. So next up are 2 books that I got from D, and that is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kwame Mbalia. Last is The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ankrum. She knows that I love middle grade, so she sent me this copy, so thank you, Dee. And also, she's already read The Weight of the Stars. I have The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. I haven't read it yet, so, but I've heard very good things about this one as well. Real quick, I do want to thank my friends. You guys are like my favorite people in the world. Thank you so much for sending me these books because I'm just so appreciative of them. So next, I was actually sent this book. It is Each of Us a Desert by Mark Oshiro. Sent this by Tor Teen, so thank you so much, Tor. This is about two girls, Xochitl and Amelia, as they navigate the choppy awakenings of love, loss, and identity, and learn to find the light inside themselves even in the darkest of times. This is Own Voices for Latinx rep as well as the LGBT rep. This comes out in September. I don't remember the exact date, but I'll write it right here. September 2020. This is the last book of the haul. I know, finally. Muse Squad, The Cassandra Curse by Chantel Acevedo came out July 7th, and it's middle grade, has Greek mythology with a Latinx main character. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this book as well. So once again, thank you so much to HarperCollins. Okay, so that's all my, that's all. Like it's not excessive. I know it's excessive again. But I've got, again, a stack of books then that I'm going to unhaul. I'm going to go through my bookshelves a few more times before I do an actual like unhaul video. After that video, there's going to be a reorganization video, so you guys have that to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.